Bandito Radio 112 FM, a streaming radio station for all toy enthusiasts, collectors, photographers, and customizers. Built to match your mood and passion. Music from hip-hop to country and all the rock in between with host Howlin' Jim Jackson. For a dose of the macabre, there's Myra's Morgue of Midnight Madness, featuring old-time radio dramas and Action Figure Frequencies, a radio podcast about all aspects of toys and toy collecting with your hosts, SKN's own Chet Maddox and Alexander Storm. Bandito Radio 112 FM. Available to stream now on Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
And just like that, welcome back to the world's only, well, by world, we mostly mean America's Toy Podcast. I am your lovely, gorgeous, sexy, incredibly handsome, stunning host, Chet Maddox, along with pure sex appeal, Mr. Storm. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing fantastic. And someone is bringing the sexy back. Mr. Richard himself. Hey, you gorgeous hunk of man meat. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic today.
Oh, that's so good. Hey, we want to thank everyone for stopping by. We got 500,000 people watching live right now. It's freaking insane, but we love it anyways. We got a great show for you. As you are aware, we're a podcast and we talk about toys. And so that's what Toy Box Chronicles does. But we also talk about other things other than toys, like toy news and, customizing toys and all the other craziness. Tonight is going to be fantastic. We're talking about G.I. Joe and Hasbro, but some of you may know it as Has Don't. And if you like high-end collectibles, then we have got the topic for you today. And we're going to get into that right after these messages. I'm just kidding. You guys all thought I was going to play that again. Well, we're back, and unfortunately, we were doing some technical testing here at SK of the Ends, and we noticed that Instagram likes to cut out. And so if you're watching on Instagram, we're sorry, it cut out. But without further ado, because you're here and we're here, Mr. Storm, let you go through the comments, my friend, because we have some people here.
Yeah, let's knock it out. And actually, they've been hitting us up a little early and everything. We got Darth Moocher in the house. This is going to be a good talk. And this was the most expensive pre-order shopping cart I have ever done. And yes, he told me that the other day when he got me. I was like, wow, he's got that in. Mystic Dolphin, he has given us some information that we will come back to a little later on. I'm glad he's in here tonight. But as of 3/19 at 7 p.m., that Dragon's at 1910. It only needs to get to another 90 to hit the goal, but we're going to come back to that comment because that is the comment of the night. Mr. Scott Solo, everything. Mr. Scott Solo needs to take some extra stuff out of his house
No,
because if he's continuing buying Joe figures at this point,
no, he doesn't need to take stuff out of his house. He could sell some of the stuff to people like me that want it.
And then we've got Dr. Brentley. He said I have to put my car up as collateral if I'm going to get that dragon and everything else like that. Yeah, well, they'll take it, brother. They'll take it. And then Darth Moocher, one more time. Let's do this. You're right. We are going to do this tonight and everything. We're going to talk some Joes. That's the best thing. Now, if you've been watching the Tribunal, Richard and I talk Joes all the damn time. But on Toy Box Chronicles, we talk Joes too. And there was a very interesting event that happened the other day. And that was that Hasbro decided to alleviate all of our money from our accounts in one day, actually. And my man, like I said, Commander Bly, I'm fighting the collection demons. I fight that all the time, my friend.
Commander, fly by the demons.
Well, we've got again at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. They started the G.I.JOE Fanstream, and they had Lenny, and they had Emily, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name, but they were all dressed in a neo-punk kind of scenario and everything. So it was they were setting the tone for the Dreadnoughts and everything. And Darth Moocher, yep, Joe Team shout out again, yep, got it. Well, the one good thing about it is the first aspect, and my man Meeks, what's going on? The one aspect that they did do, which was very interesting, they showed us the box art and the actual box itself for the Cold Sliver. And they also did something that Richard and I partaked in. They actually dropped this music Cold Sliver video, which was very interesting. Very interesting at the least. And everything. But they dropped that in. They showed the box art. The box will open up to like basically look like a stage from what they're saying. They didn't open it up for us, but we got to go with their word that they're saying it's going to open up and look more like a stage. So
yeah, they said it's going to be designed to display them bubbled too. So yeah. That's pretty awesome.
If you're an inbox collector, the same. I think it looked to me more like the same kind of technology when they ran with Serpentor and Dr. Mindbender, where you could actually open up those boxes and you didn't need to take the character out. So if you're in the box creator, hey, you got it. If you're not, you got that as well. So that's a
like
cool aspect.
That's like my favorite Supreme Cobra Commander.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Like that.
I do not take that one out of the box.
Yeah, and Darth Moocher appreciates the actual marketing ploy because they were dressing like they wanted, like they were punk stars from the '80s and everything. I don't know if that look worked too well, but they did try to pull it off.
Hey, look at here's the thing. This is my thing about that. Like good evening, Mr. Rad, Chris. But here's my thing on that. Look. They work for Hasbro. These people directly are responsible for Hasbro and Joe and marketing and everything else. And I'm not gonna talk shit on them. I'm not gonna say anything because I think it's great. I think it's more than we've gotten in a while. And look, hey, at the end of the day, like anyone that makes fun of them or anyone that says shit like, hey, they're getting paid to dress like that, and maybe you're not. And like, I thought it was cool, especially because like Cold Slither is kind of rad, and like, whatever, who cares? Like, what you don't want them to dress up like that, and then at the same time, then when they do or you want them to dress up like that and show that they're into it, right? And then when they do that, then it's like this thing where it's like, I don't know if I would have done it, and it's like, well, you can't. Which one do you want? I'm excited for them, though.
I think they look. Let's put it like this. I think the Joe team is the most passionate team that's over on Hasbro. They put their passion out there. Now, look, that's not always going to work for everyone else, but like, don't you want people to show up to their job and they want to do their job? Or do you want people to look like all life, like, I don't care about being here, God help me, I hate this place?
Yeah.
So, that's the one thing too. And Commander Bly locks that out. Haters are going to hate. Go ahead, Richard.
Wow.
Hate.
You see a lot of those
Oh,
very mechanical.
Yeah,
we're having technical
Richard's
issues.
having some technical issues.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. All right, one more time, Richard. We got you back.
You there? Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah.
We got you.
The phone is hating me today. On a lot of these live streams, a lot of these social media streams, you see people that are very robotic. They were having a good time. They dressed up. They were enjoying themselves. Like, and I find it made me enjoy it even more. So all the kudos to them, man. It was awesome.
Actually, absolutely, and Darth Moocher agrees exactly. I think they're really having fun with the IP and not like other teams. Look, yeah, they actually enjoyed themselves, and everything about it was that they, again, I want to see people passionate about something. I love people's passion, and when they're into it, they're into it. So, and there was a couple of funny things that happened in the stream. Everything. Mystic Dolphin actually puts in, as Game Channel knows, FYI, I'm proud Mystic Legion. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm totals are from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And today at 4 p.m. Chris, Eric, and Donna implied a small amount left to fund. Great. And actually, and hey, we no matter who you are, whatever your fandom is, we thank you for being here. And like I said, we're getting to the dragon because I can tell like damn near everybody we know. Even this is how serious it is. Let me express to you how serious it is. Like, Dr. Brentley said he may purchase this dragon, so we got to get to that a little later on tonight, man.
Yeah.
But you're looking at some of the aspects where I'm looking at what they were doing for the team and everything, and so they had some reveals. And so if we go to slide 1, we can see look, whether you're a fan of the original shows or whether you're not, Barbecue is an updated version of him. He doesn't look exactly like the retro line, but since they do have the retro line, they figured they can actually, use that mold and actually add the original character to it. One of the aspects that I thought was the Frag Viper was a little bit more unique than what I thought. Just seeing him in the, just his detail and everything, a lot of great work into it, unusual look. I was surprised. I don't know about now here's the thing. I didn't order any of the non-exclusives because I can usually find that in like Target or any other store online or Big Bad or Entertainment Earth or wherever. So I normally if it's like a wide release character, I'm not gonna hunt it down and everything. So and Chet, I know you're big into Cobra, so the Frag Viper's there, but did you order any of these or Richard, did you guys order any of these?
So, funny story, and since Moocher's here, he will hacking Hasbro is hacking. We were talking about Cobra, so we all know it's Cobra. And I guess Rad is going to be buying the whole like whatever they're under. Is that
90?
You buying the over under on that?
Blowtorch was
yeah.
And,
What's up, Dad? What's up, Dead Man Juan? My favorite thing about this story, and I'll tell you right now. So I'm going to be if it's Cobra, I'll probably buy it. But funny story. So the last time we had a pre-order, I told you I was not able to get Crystal Ball, and then I think Richard said he might have one. So if he does, like I'm gonna be in debt to that guy. And then I couldn't get it because I kept adding it to my cart and it said not available. Everyone else was able to get it. Then they did that with I had the problem with Archangel, whatever. And then so this time it went up and I was with you. The mass ones were the ones I was like, okay, I got to make sure I get because that's going to be hard to get. And so I got it. I put it in my cart. It said, thank you for your order. I took a screenshot of it. I went to my orders and looked and it wasn't there. And I was like, okay. So I did it again and it was in my cart. And I was like, cool. And then I went and bought the snake armor stuff. And I was like, I don't know. It didn't add to my cart. And I added 2. And then I went back. I was like, it's not there. And I was like, well, I don't want to miss out on this. So I added 2 more to my cart and did the purchase again. And I was like, shit's still not showing up. So right now, complete total, I have 2 sets of the mass devices And then
Diver.
and then the armor,
Mhm.
I have 7.
Which is supposed to be 5 limit, so I don't know how that happened. There's some
You
somebody's
saw
hacking the
my
matrix.
cart.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I have 7 in my cart.
That was a hell of a mistake right there.
Yeah.
Uh, Actually, the funny thing about it is, you know, Darth Moocher was the one where I said in the morning, I said he had a serious problem because we were laughing and he hit me up and he goes, "Hey man, yeah, I got like 3 of the armors, but one was for Scott, from what I understand. And then I purchased all of the figures right at once. And I was like, we're gonna have to have some toy intervention with Darth Moocher, because Darth Moocher spending like future earnings on this point. And I was like, wow, man, that's a lot. But then I had to take a look at myself a little different as well, because I ordered 3 of the snake armor.
I love the snake armor. I love the fact that they added the wash to it. It looks like
Just
it doesn't look super clean where it would look like they said in the cast when it was just plain white. It almost looked like a prototype.
Yeah,
When they showed the close up of it, I think it looks amazing.
yeah.
I only ordered 2, but
Well, we're
hey,
going.
look, yeah.
And also Chet Scalper Maddox. Okay, he's got you. Yeah, we
Heck yeah,
got you.
Commander Bly, you got it.
Uh,
Hey, if you need one, let me
Check
if you need one.
contributions. you know,
Yeah.
and Darth
If
Moocher
you
says that's tomorrow's problem.
Yeah, exactly.
but to what you asked earlier, I did order Blowtorch because I
Yeah.
just think he looks absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
What
Yeah,
they
he's
did with the paint apps, how they modernized him, the way he has a 2-piece helmet and mask. I think this is the exact mix of old school and modern that I've been looking for in the Joe line, and I am just flabbergasted by how awesome it looks.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you know what? Again, I thought I liked the update to it. It made sense the way they were explaining it to it, like dampers and everything. Look, add a little different. Look, you have a retro line for a reason. You can actually, if somebody wants a more 80s version of Blowtorch, then they're obviously going to give it to you because that's why they have the retro line. I like his update. It looks something completely different and it adds a texture to the character that just wasn't there before. So I think it works. The Frag Viper, I think they nailed that. It looks a piece of like classic Frag Viper and the new additions. I think they did a really good job on this figure.
Yeah.
And it kind of harkens back because that's after that period where GI Joe kind of went to the whole Deacon and Vipers and all these other toxic
Yeah.
Vipers and all started coming out the woodwork. But they actually took something that was very simplified and they 100% did it in a way that it looked modernized. So
And it's
when
specifically made to be army built.
yes, that's
So I
exactly.
think that's pretty cool that they kept those kind of collectors in mind.
And look, Dr. Brentley is already starting with that. Any extras can be sold over through Dr. Brentley's collectible for a small handling fee. I won't be a small handling fee. I can tell you that.
Yeah, there's no small handling fee.
Yeah,
And
there's
hey,
no
here's the
small handling.
deals. Yeah.
And Blowtorch has a Deadpool mask on his thigh. Actually, you know what? I did see the 2 different mask version. The other one, it was very interesting, man. I gave it credit where even the dampeners and everything, it didn't look as like when I saw it at Toy Fair. It looked better through. Well, first of all, anytime you do toy photography, you almost make that thing look 10 times better, anyways. And then Mark Mooch says the Frag Vipers are so cool. Mooch, did you get one or did you buy 2 of the Frag Vipers? And Commander Bly and the points, Dr. Brentley, it's so kind. So when I think they nailed these a couple of characters on. I think also their toy photographer did a fantastic job of their looks. And then you've got Darklon, which is Destro's brother, Iron Grenadier. Great look. Took him straight out of the classic version of him. He still looks modernized, yet also classic. So they did that great. Here was the character I was a little intrigued with, and I'll ask Richard on the same way. Footloose. Footloose, they did a nice job updating him, man.
Yeah, I think of all of the figures that I saw presented, Footloose looks the most amazing. Now, granted, it could be the toy photography and the lighting and everything, but when they showed some close-ups of it, I think it's another one that's that nice mix of classic and modern, and it just looks like he looks like a modern military figure. Like he just looks amazing. I would probably end up like if I can find these cheap enough, like 20 of them just to have those bodies.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Well,
20 seems kind of crazy, huh?
and Rad
I make a
says,
lot of customs.
Joes are so good at making you buy armies and multi of each figure, and he's absolutely right. They do a great job of like when
Did
they do
they
their army builders, you want their army builders.
did they do an Ariel Moore figure?
I don't believe so. Why?
No.
Oh, well, just because she was his dancing partner in Footloose.
Yeah. No, actually,
why do you remember that? Why do you remember that?
Well,
why wouldn't I remember it? It has to do with Joe's, right?
here's the thing, though. I know what year was that movie in? Because I think Footloose was Footloose before the movie, or was he after the movie? Because I know he wasn't in first.
Well, the movie was in '84.
Okay, then yeah, he was after the movie. So yeah, it was direct. That name probably was like, yeah, all right, And actually, one thing too in the Joe show, he was
So what you're
more of a
saying
valley guy,
what you're saying is he should have been molded looking like Kevin Bacon.
Yes, sir. And Lori Singer,
Well, like I said again, I think there probably would have been copyright low issues with that. Probably that's probably why they didn't go with that. From there, Law and Order. Look, this was
Nope.
probably one of the best sculpt dogs that I have seen out of the entire point. Because Timber is okay. Timber was like the wolf, and he looked okay. And then like Finona from Crocmaster looked all right. And then they've tried to update Timber several times, but you could tell they obviously redid that in the same mold and just added some features to him. This dog, which I can't remember. I think it was his Order the Dog, or I think chances are Law and Order. You don't think they put the dog's name first. Look, he looks he's updated as well. He still reminds you of the first time we saw him in G.I. Joe the movie. Yet they added that dog and all the extra, the armory and everything else that they put onto him, and then the two different faces. They upped this
as well as a mask.
Yeah.
And I like how on his vest they added the little holes when they said, like they specifically said, there's going to be other characters that you can take the pouches off and put them on him. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get more modular figures in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works. That works. Look, I think, and it's just to come with a handcuff and everything else like that, look, they did a great job. He looks like the classic version, yet also modern. And I think this one's the one, if you're like always into the retro line, you'll probably end up buying this one a little bit more. But I think that dog's going to look well for any toy photographer or customizer out there. I think that's one of the things that works well.
Yeah, he definitely makes the set.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And but now here's the thing: those deluxe figures, I can tell you, if you're worried about Law and Order, give them a couple of weeks, because whenever they hit the Target shelves, I don't care what it is, who it is, how it is. If it's a deluxe figure with an animal, you usually can get them in a couple of weeks at half off or somewhere around there. You won't have to pay full price in about a month or two after it's been out on the shelf. Somehow it hits a clearance bin, and it's like half off or something. So that's a wait and get figure, because I don't think that's going to disappear as well. Now here's the figure that did disappear, and it disappeared damn near out of every other Joe's collector. And we got to go 1 week back where we were talking about Crystal Ball. So far at this point, they put up Crystal Ball for 30 seconds, and I'll use that term, 30 seconds, like 2 days ago. And by the time the notice it came out, I went to go check again, and I was like, nope. It's like, it's just wasting my time coming in, And Walmart did the same thing. They said, oh, we got these. No, they didn't. So, I don't know what's going on with their ordering system on this character and what the limited number was, but this is going to be the point of contention. This is like this is the Serpentor Dr. Mindbender mess up all over again, where I think somewhere at the 1027 Pulse event or something, by then they'll say, oh, we got more of Crystal Ball. It seems like some of these exclusive figures, they can't get right when it comes to like how much should be out in the, merchandise. The point, and they said a piece. So I don't know. A bunch of people bought 5 at the same time, but this is going to be a hard figure to track down.
I think they were kind of overwhelmed by the popularity. I mean, that's not the most popular or sought after character in the original line, but I mean, people just ate it up. They just absolutely I'm getting mine mostly. I mean, not really for me. They're to resell, but like it looks amazing. Just not a character that I was a big fan of.
Yeah, I had him as a kid, but he was, again, like they always said, he was like a peg warmer. He was, but I still had him as a kid. I thought it was cool, and then you find out the Stephen King kind of thing to it, and it makes everything look a little bit different now in your eyes. So I don't know if people are purchasing that just because that's more of a known scenario from it or not. And everything. I know Chet really wanted that due to that connection, right, Chet?
Yeah, I wanted due to Stephen King connection, and also my dad. It was one of the first Joes my dad bought me, and I couldn't find it, and so I was like, because my dad was a massive Stephen King. He just liked the books. My dad didn't really read a lot, but when he did, he liked Stephen King, and he got me this. So,
all right, well, like I said again, the Joe community will be definitely looking for that. Commander Bly, I just want to know if this was planned or a mistake. Love to be a fly on the wall in these meetings. I would, you know what?
That's hard, man.
It's a hard thing.
I think you. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, sometimes companies do intentionally short pack figures. They'll do that on purpose, but I don't think he was thought of as a popular enough figure to do that with. I think it was just completely, it caught him off guard.
Yeah. I think the same thing, man. I think that they probably didn't think that this character was as popular today as he was, so I don't think they really put into the plan. I don't think this was by purpose. If it is, then that's completely sinister, because all they did was just make people go and get pissed off and write on every Joe forum on Facebook, like really disparaging things, and that doesn't make sense.
Right now, Crystal Ball has a 1.5-star rating on Hasbro Pulse, so you could tell that they're it's probably backfiring. And here's my thing: is like, I don't think it was on purpose. I think that they were a little bit overwhelmed, but also like, have fun with the wife. I also think that they have to have room for like oversell and then like replacements and stuff. So, when that they can do made to order technically, what would be the harm in just letting the orders go, and then anyone that pre-ordered the first orders all the way up until the ones you made get sent out, and then the other ones just get a notification saying, hey, yours are being made, like they'll be sent out.
True. And I think the one aspect that works on to their disadvantage on this is they've previously gone through the same thing before. So, one thing that the whoever's doing the part of stock when it comes to the Walmart or Geek Out or whatever event, their 1027 or their San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, they have to get to the point where this is something that they actually are saying, if it is exclusive, then they're going to sell out. Now, the one thing I noticed, and I haven't checked it today, but as we were ordering, it wasn't hard to get the exclusive snake armor. So that let me know that must be on, they had way more supplies than that, and they actually had anticipated that this was something that people would buy multiple ones of, So, because, Chet's got 11 or 12 of them right there at the point of 5, and, again, between, we've had to push, like, I've got 3, Mooch has got 3, Richard ordered 2, Brad probably ordered a couple. So out of that, nobody had a hard time getting a $75 scenario, which there's something a little funny that happened, but of course, we'll use Richard's terminology on this: mustard and ketchup. The mass device divers. This was the first Target exclusive that was not hard to get. They're
cool. They look awesome. I like the gear and everything. Not the biggest fan of the colors. I mean, I get it. That's what they were wearing in the cartoon. Yeah. But I went ahead and didn't get these.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to be hard to find on the shelves.
I
Are-
go ahead, Chet.
Are you sure MAS didn't stand for mustard and sriracha sauce?
I don't think we're supposed to reveal that though.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Well, I have 2 extra ones, and I wanted one because I like the Cobra one. So if anyone wants the yellow one, you could have it. But I have an extra set because the Hasbro thing. So if anyone watching needs one because they didn't get it, let me know and I'll keep it. Otherwise, there's a high probability I will let one go because I don't need 2 of these box sets.
Well, Dark Moocher said, I think either way that they're high-fiving themselves just because people are buying like crazy. You've got a great point about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And snake armor platoon. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Between all between all of us, how many do we have?
Well, you got 11 or 12, right? And then
Yeah, I got like
3.
I got like 12. You got 3.
Chet's actually just going to stack them up to actually make a life-size mech out of them.
Yeah.
Do something like a Cobra Voltron.
I'm actually going to be signing them for for Joe Fest in May.
So again, I think the one aspect, this was I believe $54.95, but with all the different accessories and everything, they really piled this on. So, I give them credit. This seems like one of the most accessorized multi-packs I've seen from them. So, again,
My favorite right now is this. You ready?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that you can sell the MAS figures in a 2-pack with all those accessories for just $4 more than the Maximum Spider-Man? That's the idiots that are going to be talking about that.
Yeah, and now we get to the thing that we've all talked about and we've
Ugh.
all seen, and actually a code name mustard and ketchup. I would not be surprised if that was actually true. It's just like in Die Hard, just Agent Smith, this Agent Smith, no relations.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, if there was a creme de grace of the top item that you could purchase that day, and they backed it up when Lenny had that on the table, and he was actually, showing it, and they opened it up and they showed that different characters, and they basically said that we all know that the larger the character, so Sergeant Slaughter might not fit in there well, and we know Road Pig's not going to fit in there well. Maybe also too Roadblock because he's a little bit of a bigger body as well. But like the standard Cobra officers and
Nemesis
anyone
one.
else, and then Rad hit this to something where he was like, I think people are buying this also because you can put like Marvel Legends and everything in. I was like, oh wow,
Oh, yeah.
think about
Dude,
that.
I'm going to tell you right now, someone's going to paint this for Iron Man.
Yeah.
And that is Richard at KS Collectibles.
I want to paint it like just because there were so many color variations just in G.I. Joe.
But they did say that on the live stream, though. They mentioned black, and then they had the other different color. I have a feeling that this is not the first time and only time we're going to see him. Obviously, did they have Python Patrol? I don't know if that character was in Python Patrol, but I'm sure we're going to see
they did.
Like different colors and everything. So this is not the first time we'll see this character, kind of like the way they did the Trouble Bubble.
Yeah, I want to see that royal blue and red one though.
Yeah.
That I think that will look awesome in it.
Well, I know before they do it, somebody out there is definitely going to do it because that's the customizers are going to minute this gets out, somebody's washing one, or you see one with rust or something else like that.
This is going to make me buy an airbrush.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's effing cool. All right. Dr.
See, Dr. Brentley was trying to be car salesman me because he said I could sell my extras over on Dr. Brentley's Collectibles, and I have 12 of these, so he's just gonna keep one.
Yeah. Oh, I believe me.
That would be the fee for selling them on his. That would be the small handling fee.
Exactly. We got a little bit more. You look at the accessories. The one thing they did too is they took off the different hands, put on the fire effects and everything else like that. So it's modernized. I know a lot of people are classic and they wanted the original one. Look, if you don't think there's probably a retro one that's coming, I'm sure there's a retro version that they've kind of dreamed up for this.
Can you imagine how big the retro card back this would be?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure. I don't think it's going to be a card back, but that would be if they put this in a card back. I will write into Hasbro and let them know. Now that was cool. But I got a feeling that they may do a retro version and maybe that tooling where you can actually put the character and it looks more like the classic version of it. But you know, again, the fire effects and everything else like that, it's just a great looking figure. And again, it's not just for Joe, because Rad pointed out that people with Marvel Legends or like any other scaled 112 figures will probably be using that for that as well. And Rusty Fallout custom snake.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool. Yeah, 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 that would be kind of cool. From there, we jump into, if there was one aspect that I thought that hit me, and we were just talking about this, Richard, was the minute I saw the MMS, and I happened to see it with, like, you know, not General Hawk, but the original 13 Colonel Hawk. I was
Yep.
like, it's a repaint. I know of the SMS, but guess what? You got my money just for, you know,
Oh yeah.
just for
Are
the
you
Colonel
getting
Hawk
this?
reference. Oh heck yeah!
So
It
you're
didn't
getting
come up
this?
for order this time around, but when it does, yeah, I'm buying that one, bro.
See, that's my problem is like I'm gonna buy this because I want the figure. I don't want the MMS because it's not Cobra, and I have the Cobra one already.
Yeah, which, you know, but this was you know, again, they used to do the same exact thing, so they just switched out the characters. And this is, again, if you do have the MMS, and I have seen this online too in a couple of Facebook groups,
Oh yeah.
that, you know, they've already made it and painted it. They took existing SMS and painted and made it the MMS. So, you know, but just for, yeah, just for having the original 13 Colonel Hawk, that's cool, man. You know, so again, there'll be another set of rockets sitting somewhere on a point. Again, we'll have to start, going over to Scott Solo's house and knocking down walls, because you know, he's gonna need room, I'm gonna need room, Dark Mitcher, like I said again, it's like, you know, we're gonna have to start making some changes with this. But and then they also showed as a sneak peek for the retro line, the just green shirt Joe. So if it's kind of like,
Yeah.
if you're in Star Trek, there's the red guy that goes to planet and he dies. In G.I. Joe, there's the green scope guy that just walk around. You never really see what happens to him, but somehow there's a bunch of guys that didn't have names in the show. And I think this is a cool army build. And this is something I
Yeah.
know that Joe fans have asked for a very long time.
Yeah,
Actually,
this is
we
rad.
literally just talked about this,
Yeah.
and they did exactly what I said they needed to do. You
Yep.
have two different heads, two different sets of hands, and
Mhm.
in the future, all they can release just a packet, like, you know, like they used to do back in the day when we used to get the accessory packs. You can do one with just heads and hands, and you'll have multiple figures.
Yeah,
I mean, this is gonna be army built for years.
yeah, no, I give credit where credit's due, man. This was smart, and I like the modular characters a little bit more. You know, look,
Yeah.
you know, if you want to have a whole room full of different characters, switch them out and have certain situations. I think if you're right, Richard, they did have a multi-pack with a new assortment of heads and everything,
Hmm.
because this is going to be a multi-buy for everybody. They're not just going to buy two. This may be like people buying like 4 or 5 or 6 of these. What do you think, Chet? This one, the green shirt guys is going to be, well, or are you waiting just for the Cobra officers? They have all over the place, but you know, Cobra officers got to take somebody down. So, any green boys showing up on the shelf at your house, man?
Honestly, I really like these ones. I'm gonna be honest. Like it's not that I'm against buying like Joe stuff, because I told you like eventually I'm
Yeah.
gonna get the Dragonfly. But has to have the pilot because I need him. But this is such a really unique, cool way to do it. And I can't believe they would use AI to. No, I'm just kidding. This is a really cool way to do it, and I'm with Richard. I think it's awesome. Like having the different hands and the different heads. I think it's really good because you can army build however you want to army build.
Mhm.
And to be completely honest with you too, like you could even buy this, right? And then switch it with like Cobra heads and stuff. So if you wanted like infiltration or whatever you were trying to build out, like you'd have it. I think this is really unique. I think it's cool. I think I'll probably get like 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, it's a smart move in my opinion.
I think so too, as well. And again, that's part of the retro line. And then they got a couple more characters that they kind of showed us. Snake Eyes version 3. Look, as a kid, that was like, okay, now they're just throwing anything. As a classified fan, they really updated this in a way that I did not expect. They made that kind of like, way out version 3 look. It looked goofy as a kid. They did a really good job on this one, man. It in no way, shape, or form. It kind of adds a little bit of a different way that I thought of, and I was shocked when they pulled this up. I was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna get like what, a fifth Snake Eyes now.
Yeah, they took a figure that I thought was below average in the original run,
Mm.
and this looks amazing. Like, I love his weapons. I love the way the color scheme looks. The way they updated, I was, they changed my mind on it.
Yeah, and Compiler Bly actually says it's almost like they're making exactly what the people want. What an amazing choice! I,
Yeah.
yeah, it's something I don't know what's going on over there, but something's in the water. But they're actually producing that. And then, if you weren't a fan of the new version of the bat, then they actually have just a standard retro bat. Because I know the only time I saw the standard one, the retro one, they did it for the Super 7, I think Ultimate lines, and I'm just not a fan of that. And the retro one was like, all right, you want a classic 80s Real American Hero version? They got it for you. So yeah, they're balancing out this right and wrong that they had earlier in the line. It seems like that's working through. Now here's one where I know Chet's buying the bat and everything, the retro bat. So that's already in his cart.
That is, you are correct on that. I love these things.
So this is the worst thing they could put out, and I mean the worst thing for me financially, because as I've told you before, I have a problem with
I know
bat.
you do. I do.
The Cobra Bat is my favorite. Was my favorite figure. I own, like I said, I own like 200 of them, of the original 86 bats, including a carded one. I have a very bad bat problem, and I'm sure it will continue.
Well, here's the best part about the retro line. Chances are you may see them discounted somewhere. So you're probably not, first couple of months, you're going to pay the full price. And then after that, you may see them pop up for the next 6 months after that at a very discounted price. You and Commander Blythe say the same thing. Oh man, I need that bat. Yeah. And look, they're doing a great job with the retro line. And then from there, rounding out everything, they gave us some actual reveals, not digital reveals, but they've got the from the classic D cartoon, the armored Cobra Commander. They've got him, so they got him up, and then from there they have Monkey Wrench Dreadnought, great choice. The retro version of Major Blood, which look, I thought the classified version's great, but the retro version's even better. And then they got Mercer from the Slaughter Marauders. Or it's a slaughter, or were they Marauders?
They're called the Renegades.
Renegades, yeah, the Renegades. And Commander Bly said, yeah, other than I have the other classified bat, but I really wanted a retro. A lot of fans actually, just like you, Commander Bly.
They're definitely listening to the fans on that one.
Where's the retro one? And they didn't make you wait. They actually gave it to you. Mercer's getting a little bit more attention now due to the Skybound comic. So he's become a very popular character, more than he was when we saw him in, I believe, wasn't it G.I. Joe the movie, if I was mistaken, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So they barely kind of glanced over those characters. But he's getting a little bit more popularity from him. And I think his backstory, and again, I could be wrong on this, but I believe it was ex-Cobra agent that came over to the Joes, right? So,
he's an ex-Crimson Guard.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So the one thing they did reveal was he's going to be in a 2-pack with Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, I did hear that. So we're going to get a third version of Sergeant Slaughter, which is cool because that's going to be a.
I'm hoping we get the one with the USA across the chest, like the original mail away.
Look, I think they paid Sergeant Slaughter the license. They're going to get as many items out of that as they can, which is not a problem with it. I know that Major Blood is probably one of those on Chet's radar, and along with Monkey Wrench the Dreadnought. So, and then also the armored version of Cobra Commander. Did you have the armored version of Cobra Commander when you were young, Chet?
I did. These all four are on my radar, but yes, specifically, yeah. And the reason why I justify all four is because I knew that he was from Crimson Guard, and I was like, that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I give them credit, man, because like this last retro wave is one Joe for three Cobras. And
Yeah.
so,
I'm
you
really
know,
I'm really hoping that all four of these are Walmart exclusives though.
I don't think they can actually afford to do that as the Walmart exclusives, but we'll see and everything. So the other big thing, and actually I'm going to circle back up to the comments because I know we said that we were running that, but Mystic Dolphin was one. We're talking about the Mystic Legion's Dragon. So let's re-put some of these comments back on the screen, and everything, because we did glance over before because we knew this was another point. But as of 3:19 at 7 a.m. I do not understand. I think it's Beyithirr, whatever, Beyithirr. Like I said, that dragon's name is gonna hit me for every point. So I know I'm probably mispronouncing it, but when we see these guys, the four horsemen at Toy Atlanta, that will be actually pretty good. It's at 1910 units sold, which is about 90%. It needs to get to 2,000 dragons, so that's 90 dragons from the goal. Fiery Breath said it's funded at 1015. Great, because the Fiery Breath came with just the Fiery Breath and I believe another head, if I'm
Under
not
the head.
mistaken. Yeah. And then there's a stretch goal that's at 1250 units sold. Okay, that's pretty good. The Epic Wings at 827 sold. That's 83% of its goal. So that works on it. Let me not glance over this other one, the other comment and everything. SKN as the channel was never FYI, I'm a proud Mystic Legion mom. I'm not going to mispronounce this dragon's name again, but the totals are from 7 a.m. At 4 p.m. on four horsemen o'clock. Oh, four horsemen o'clock. Okay, I'm getting this right now. 4 p.m. Chris, George, and Diego implied small amounts left to fund the Mystic Legion Dragon. Okay, look, you and I both said this, and I think a lot of people had their doubts, and we were the first ones that said to ourselves, like, no, also Sick Toys or Sick Toy Arts, welcome in. I'm getting that dragon. Look, there's a lot of people gonna get this dragon. Chet and I called this. The minute we saw the $500 dragon, I'm like, damn it, it cried out for you to want it. Because you're like any company that's taking that bold kind of initiative. And what was it, Chet, if I'm not mistaken, 70 points of articulation?
Yeah, something like that. 70,
Yeah.
750, something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
But I was like, okay, man. Now, here's the thing. I'm probably not going to purchase any of the other stretch goals. Like, I don't need any bigger wings. And look, first of all, he's damn near almost a 4 foot, 5 foot dragon. Just finding the shelf space for him. I don't need his wings to go out any further that I can't put them on anyways. And I know he can't. There's a knight and all the other things. I'm cool with the 550 dragon because I don't think I'm going to see a 550 dragon come around for a little bit of some time. So, but we called it. Look, I knew it was going to hit the funding, and we're not even at the halfway point on this campaign at the moment. So I'm thinking now we're seeing the numbers and everything. What, Chet, you think what 5,000 dragons sold?
At this rate, I think it's probably going to be about 4.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right,
I
Richard,
think it'll
same
probably
thing?
be about 4.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be maybe even in the mid fours, but it's crazy. The more I see pictures of it and everything, the more that $500 tag has become reasonable.
If you can say that about
Well, so yeah,
$500.
and here's the other thing too, though. Like, I say 4 comfortably,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
with Toylanta coming and knowing that
Mhm.
Mythic Legions is going to be there and the whole
Sure.
four horsemen,
Mhm.
you never know what's going to happen, right? They could be just like a lot of people that maybe don't know, or they'll go and they'll see it and they'll be like, oh yeah, I do need that. They might have it so you could like touch it. And then once one thing when I used to work for the giant fruit company in the world, we knew that as soon as you came in and touched the product, like you were going to buy it, and that's just how it
Mhm.
is, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm with Brintley here. If you're buying, you got to get all the options. Those wings are amazing. Fire breath, even better. Come on. Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence about it. I'm waiting because I'm very cautious on this one. I do
Yeah.
want it, but I want to wait it out and see.
Okay. And Commander Bly, somehow this dragon seems to have crossed all the lines for 1/12 scale collectors. I know a lot of collectors drawn to this like a beacon on Gantor.
I agree because I don't collect anything like as much as I love Mythic Legions and stuff like that. Other than Eagleus, I it's just not something I collect. I want this I want this dragon pretty badly to the point where I'm probably I mean coming up with the funds may not be something I can do, but I'm willing to trade a Jabba sail barge for it.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
It's,
Oh.
it's bought.
That's right there. That's a hell of a trade right there. It looks like somebody might need
That's twice the money right now as
yeah,
it goes
right.
right now.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, Mystic Dolphin pops back in. It has 50 points articulated. Thank you so much. Epic Wings has 51-inch wing. 51-inch. Oh my God. Oh my God. And also not to get Epic Wings are 24 inches wide each. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And Sig Toys, like I sold 1,300 acid rain for it. And guess what? Entering the crew, Scully from the Skeleton
What
Tubes.
up?
What's going on, sir? What's going on? Talk a little Mystic Legions here, sir, and how Mystic Dolphin is actually converting us to we may have to, and also Dr. Brentley spending all of our money because he's like, hey, come on, man, just get out the $900 that you need.
Yeah, right. I mean, I agree. If you're gonna get it, or at least from my perspective, if I was gonna spend that money, I'd have to get all the stretch goals. It just I'd feel like I ripped myself off if I didn't.
You know what?
And
I'm
like
just gonna have to feel like that then because
the
that's
more
like a car payment. And
and as I said, the more I look at it, the more that it's become a reasonable price.
Look, they have got you. Look, this will be, Mystic Dolphin, if you're still in the chat and everything, this will be my first Mystic Legion point. But when we were at Geeking Out here in Southern California, Mystic Legion actually had a table. And the first thing Chet and I was like, oh man, we got to take a look at this dragon. They did not have the dragon, but I was able to speak to some of the guys behind the counter. And I was like, well, what's the whole lore of this? Because I know it's been out for 10 years, but I'm a little slow to the game. And first of all, behind the counter, these gentlemen were 100% fantastic. They completely explained the lore. They went over and in detail. It wasn't like they were rushing through. And we got to see some of the figures up close. And I was like, I don't know why this wasn't on my radar more. And yeah, it's going to be super worth it. He's got a point about that, and smart timing to line this up with text. Oh yeah, well yeah, who's Commander Bly? He's got a point about that. That's actually the best quote of the night, to be quite honest with you, because he does, like, H&R Block should put that out. And buy your Mystic Legion Dragon from us as we do our tax returns. But it was like, again, you looked at the product and you saw like, well, wait a minute, this is above most of the stuff that we see in the industry. Care and timing put into the packaging. The lore was there. And then to be the bold statement, like, we're going to give you something that no one's kind of done at this moment. It was one of those things where it's like, yeah, well, I wasn't on the fence when I saw the dragon. Actually, I expected to be a little bit more than 550, to be quite honest with you. And then when it came to the 550, I'm like, yeah, that actually made some sense, man. It made some sense. And I know Chet, you were talking now. So Chet, if you purchased it, and actually, H&R Block Dragon promo, hey, it makes sense. It would make sense. Chet, are you in for just the dragon itself, or you've got to go for the epic, all the tiers and the wings and all the rest of it?
Dude. If I get this, I'm paying my bills off. And then dude, I'm going all in because this shit is going to be attacking the Rattler.
Well, here's the one thing that I'll tell people about this, and this is my perspective only. So I'm gonna give you my perspective. Every now and then, there's something like the Jabba Cell Barge that a lot of people didn't go in for, and then you go to conventions, and then it's damn near triple the price that it was.
Yeah,
and you're like, shit, I should have bought that when I first saw it.
I mean, that's literally my experience with Unicron.
Yeah. And also, let's see. Again, I'm not going to pronounce the dragon's name because I don't know how to do it right. Because in my mind is, I know it's Bay something, but it's just not coming through. Comes with a figure, and Sir Bendigar. As soon as the dragon funds. Oh, okay. So they added that in. Okay. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that's actually, be honest with you. So now it looks like I'm gonna get a dragon and a figure now.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
and
that's the thing. This is gonna be one of those things. If you miss out, much like Jabba Sail Barge, Unicron, you'll feel like you really
yeah.
cheap, like you really did yourself a disservice.
Mhm.
Just
Well, here's the
saying, if anybody's looking for that feeling with that Jabba Sail Barge, I can hook them up
don't. I got
because
a
I want
feeling,
the
sir, you
dragon.
will get some. You will get some people on that one. This is a hook of a hook line. Like matter of fact, I'm going to go over to Sarlacc and file put that in. It's like Richard's gonna. If anybody wants to sell barge, you just got to buy the dragon. So that might entice some of those hardcore things over there. But and again, this is just my opinion. This is what we do the show for. It's for my opinion. This when you put this in context, and we have a Grail hunter in the show. This is gonna be a Grail. If
Oh,
it doesn't go over like 10,000 or some crazy number, this is going to be a Grail. You're going to go to conventions 5, 6 years down the line, and there's somebody that's selling it for 2,600, some crazy ass price, and you're going to say to yourself, I had an opportunity to get it at 500, and I didn't think it was something. This is going to be probably, and to say that
Well,
without seeing it, it's probably going to be a Grail, man.
so I have two things on this. I know we're rounding out, but I'll just explain like my thought process. I'm not a fan of crowd funds with I'm not a fan of crowd funds with tiered releases. And I'll tell you why. Because if I just came to you and said, here's my dragon, it's $1,000, and you get the dragon, the head, the fire, 2 figures, the wings, and then whatever, like now it's worth the value. But the fact that you have to add in like, oh, if we do this, it's gonna be this, we're gonna be that. It's like, I get it, I understand it. You want to encourage purchasing of the dragon, but if you can release all 3 tiers at, let's say, 3,000 items sold, then you say we can't fund this unless we sell 3,000 items.
Mhm.
And I think what that does is a couple things. And I'm speaking just so if anyone wants to do fact checking, I've done a Kickstarter. It was successful. The board game is sold worldwide. I understand everything about shipping and processing and fees and imports and all that shit. So what I'm saying is that if you present the product as a whole for the cost sub $100 or $200, it keeps away from the perception of car salesmen. Oh, by the way, you bought this car, but then also you should buy this. And then, oh, well, you didn't get that, but you should get this. And look, I don't have a problem with it. This is something that no one has done before. That's not, no one's ever done something this big. I understand being cautious. I
Yeah.
understand them wanting it out.
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with them wanting it out. I think that this is the less scammy version of a funding project. I think it's an issue that they take your money out right away before funding, because then that's I just don't think that's a proper way to do it. But I'm not Mythic Legions. I'm not Four Horsemen, but I applaud them for making something like this. And my final thoughts on this are, if I hear somebody else bitch about the cost of shipping, or they bitch at how much it is, I will gently remind them to shut the hell up and just don't buy it. But you can't say anything bad about it, because I've seen this dragon. We've all seen this dragon on video or in person, and they, regardless of whether or not that was 3D printed or was the mock-up,
Mhm.
they put the time and effort into it. And if you've ever seen a Mythic Legions character or Cosmic Legions or anything Four Horsemen does, okay? And no, I'm not a fucking shill. I actually don't own any of them. The application of paint and detail on their figures is unreal.
Yeah.
And I'm not a shill. I just didn't understand the lore. And when Alex and I
Yeah.
went and we were there. I understood the lore and I was like, cool, I get it. Now, if I'm looking at what you got, I can't afford to get all 600 of the shit you put out. So let me figure out what I want to get. And this is going to be my first, like, my jump into it. I think they have
Yeah.
like one other one I saw that I wanted. But look, it's a great dragon. No one's going to make a dragon better. I doubt it. I don't think they will, unless Hasbro releases a HasLab Fing Fang Foom, which will ultimately be better because it's Fin Fang Foom. But yeah, no, I'm into it.
Yeah, well, Dr. Brentley wrote this as I just pulled out a tape measure to see what the 51 inches, just over 4 feet, looks like. First of all, it won't fit through a doorway. Somebody's gonna an eye out and everything. That's true. And Mystic Dolphin says my tax return is covering my dragon purchase. That's what treat yourself. That's you work hard
Yeah.
all year long. Take it and buy it and spend it on something that you're gonna enjoy. You know, I'm an opponent of that and everything. The Fiery Breast set has already fully funded, and it comes with the Burning Knight, which I saw. That's a great translucent figure.
That
Right, but
Burning Knight looks amazing.
But you have to buy it. It's not like it's fully funded and you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it for
yeah.
free.
Well, I'm saying funded, they'll make it, and the point you
Yeah.
had so many before. And then you know, well, Sick Toys, I'm sorry, you know, Richard, he said he's never selling it and everything. Quincent, good seeing you tonight. As of right now, once the dragon is fully funded, backers will get Sir Bengar and the Burning Knight figures. So that dragon, that's dragon plus 2 additional figures. All right, okay, and they collect the money at the purchase to have the money to cut the steel molds. All right, so they're actually they're putting this funding all the way through, which for the dragons are enormous. Yeah, there are some. The tooling on that is actually pretty huge.
Yeah, and which I told look, I totally understand why they do it. And like I
Yeah,
said, I don't have a problem with them doing it, and I understand the tooling for that. It's around the same cost, believe it or not, for like board games and board game stuff. So I don't have a problem with what they're doing. They're not like Hasbro. They can't wait to do all that. And we have some
yeah.
friends that are doing the Bandito, and we know the tooling and the
Mhm.
cost. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying, if it's not done right, it can come off scammy.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And you know, again, I think this is one of those things where I think it's look, anything that's bringing excitement into the community. And again, the one thing I will give them credit is a crossover factor. You know,
Mm.
Commander Blythe said it earlier tonight. I know people that's never purchased, like us on the panel, never purchased Mystic Legions, and we're all excited about purchasing this. Anything that brings that excitement into the industry, especially at this price point, and like Mystic Dolphin is going to use their tax return, and people are treating this is a treat. There's a difference between like you buy something and it's like, okay, cool. This is one you perfectly say, like, what am I going to use my tax return, or what I'm going to use this money of the year? I'm going to treat myself to this. They have the excitement at the moment. We're going to be in Toy Atlanta. That's going to be cool seeing this dragon up front. We will be live streaming from that, which leads us into the next part of our situation tonight. Is ever a good segue into it? Our upcoming events. That is right. We got some upcoming events. We got Toy Atlanta in Duluth, Georgia, and that is the 28th, 29th. Well, actually, just say next week, but technically 28th, 29th, and the 30th in Toy Atlanta. Mystic Legions, we've had some contact with them, and they will be at that event. And there's, from what I understand, hopefully there's going to be an interview lined up with them. But we're running live streams. Myself and Chet will be there. Richard will be in the SKN studio here in Southern California, along with Dr. Brentley. And a couple of key things to note here is that next week, because we will be traveling to Toy Atlanta, that version of Toy Box Chronicles will be taped, but Chet and I will be in the comments. So we're going to tape one, and that's going to be for a richer subject. It's going to be wrestling figures, because obviously he pointed out we're ignoring the wrestling figures, and we're going to try to shine a little bit more light on that. And from there, we've got, after we get through with Toy Atlanta, and that's going to be a week every day. On Friday night, the preview night, they have it. Starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be in there at the Odd Frog Bandito radio booth, and we will be rolling on the SKN network here. and we will be live streaming from there. We'll be live streaming Saturday and Sunday, and there's a special panel coming up with a couple of announcements from Odd Frog and David Vonner and everything, and we're going to be at that panel, so we're going to try to set up and stream from that. But we're going to get all your Toy Atlanta news. We'll have a bunch of interviews coming in. We'll be grabbing people as they walk by and like, hey, you know, what you purchasing? What's the thing that's making you excited from the convention? So we're going to run. If you can't make it to Toy Atlanta yourself, well, just watch SKN, because we will most definitely be running that exclusive live streams all over the place. From there, May the 4th, it's Star Wars Day in a lot of people's opinion, but guess what? That day, it's going to be SoCal Joe Show, and the SKN network, Shadow News Network, will definitely have a booth there, and we will be live streaming right next to the KS Collectibles booth. That will be by Richard from KS Collectibles, and Richard's going to bring some stuff. So if you're not watching the Tribunal, then you don't get a sneak peek of all the items, exclusive stuff that he's going to bring. If you're a vintage Joe fan, you want to make sure that you're checking the Tribunal to make sure that you definitely can get that, right, Richard?
I mean, this is full of O-ring GI Joes.
Yep. Well, there's a difference. There's going to be some stuff there, and then so you spend the morning with us and everything, and then to the early afternoon, and then guess what? We're going to be heading up to Apple Valley, and we'll be there's the Star Wars the Sarlacc Star Wars Day event that's happening at Better Days, a bar in Apple Valley. That there'll be Star Wars trivia, some special Star Wars drinks, and just a good time. And we're going to be up there as well, so you know that works itself out. And just so we can actually hit this up, let me hit Mystic Dolphin on one thing. My mate gave me the permission to purchase a dragon. This is going to be our bookcase headboard. Oh my goodness, that's actually cool. And will be the most notable thing in the room. Epic oh yeah, that's going to be. And the four horsemen is bringing to Toy Atlanta. Yep, we're going to be able to see this in all its glory live.
That means try not to drool on it, fellas.
Yeah, true. And seeing in person and everything. Yep. Oh yeah, the D printed. I think it's maybe that's
3D.
supposed to be
That's 3D.
I thought that was it. Yeah, fully painted model. Yeah, that's going to be cool. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. 3D printed. Thinking sometimes I was doing a little extra drinking before we did the show.
Come on,
now,
Mythic Dolphin, stop drinking. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about myself. I was like,
Oh,
I don't
understand hashtag D.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, this must be a thing, you know. And
sure.
If this is one of these things that, you know, the guys over at the Shadow News Network, guys that are working harder than myself and Chet and Richard are out there. We got the Keebler elves that's busting their butts. And we have our Toy Atlanta exclusive t-shirt this year. And it's inspired by a major 80s line. We'll just say inspired by, but it's a Toy Atlanta exclusive. If you head over to the ShadowKnowsNetwork.com, that's shadow with an E at the back of it, ShadowKnowsNetwork.com, you can actually purchase this, and there's a limited run, and only Mr. Maddox knows the amount that is going to be as limited, but this is up for order right now. So you got 3 great colors you can buy in. I can already tell you, we've got ours for the booth, and they look fantastic printed in person. But if you want more information on that, Mr. Maddox has it. But there's also 2 spots where you can get it from, right, sir? Through the ShadowNewsNetwork.com or through the Discord, correct?
Yep. If you're on Discord, it's over there, and there may or may not be discount codes popping up in Discords randomly.
Okay.
You can find it on ShadowKnowsNetwork.com. If you follow us on X, we're on there too. Obviously, if you're watching this, you'll hear about it. If you're a YouTube subscriber to our channel for 99 cents, it's a big ask. I know Commander Bly's still on his way to the keyboard, apparently. But yeah, just hang out in the Discord, because we post in there, and sometimes we accidentally release some leaks, which, by the way, you want to pay attention to what's going on at Toy Atlanta, because we probably have something that I'm pretty sure we're going to be announcing at Toy Atlanta.
That'd be cool.
And this is something that has been in the works for quite some time. and we're excited about it. So
Yeah, absolutely. Looking all fun to that situation. Again, a good time. So again, next week will be a pre-recorded episode of Toy Box Chronicles, but we will be talking about the wrestling figures and why are we ignoring them so much and everything. We're going to shine some love because there's a lot of wrestling figure fans out there.
Yeah,
And
on the road to WrestleMania, nonetheless.
I know it's almost as if we planned this show. And one last comment before we go, Quentin. I'm curious to know what the 4,000 stretch goal is now for the dragon, since all the base dragon tiers have have each been bumped down to 500. Okay, yeah, same thing. We'll be curious as well. And the best part about it, we'll be able to ask everybody at Toy Atlanta, the Four Horsemen. We have something lined up to speak to them. So hopefully we'll answer your questions then. But you know what? It's not about me. The show always ends with the best man that's always been on YouTube. That is the mighty Chet Maddox. Mr. Maddox, may you send us out.
yes, sir. Thank you, Storm, for bringing the thunder. And if you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you go check out kscollectibles.com. That's kscollectibles.com. If you don't know what I just spelled, that's not my problem. That's yours. We want to thank everyone for being here. All 152,000 of you watching live. It's been great. Reminder, we are America's Toy Podcast. This is Toy Box Chronicles. And until next time, keep chasing that plastic dragon, you little plastic pirates.
Yeah.